Welcome back to Excel, a mental evolution podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Seth Rose, and this is episode 24. Today we're going to be talking about an equation. And this is coming from Brad Stulberg in his 8 key principles to excellence. I recently finished a book of his, one of his newer books called Master of Change. Definitely appreciated the stories and the lessons learned from that book, and that sparked me to go down some rabbit holes of some of his writing and his work, and I found this list. And so this next 8 episodes or so, we're going to be going through some little nuggets of wisdom from Brad Stulberg himself. And the first one is an equation, and this equation is stress plus rest equals growth. Very simple but not easy concept. Now, this principle is based on the general adaptation syndrome theory, which originates from the hard sciences, biology primarily, and this states that when organisms adapt to stressors, they're more likely to survive and thrive. Now, in practical terms, we can use this for humans, not only in the human performance world, but in our day-to-day as well, to promote not only physical, but also mental growth, well-being, and performance. And so essentially, this stress plus rest equals growth equation means that you alternate between periods of intense work and then periods of recovery or rest. And it's about balancing your workload and your recovery appropriately. Now, Stulberg argues that you can use this whether in training for athletics or your sport or your performance, or even working in your professional setting, such as at work. But I also argue that you could use this in your personal life as well. So it's crucial to follow these periods of intense stress with adequate rest to help facilitate growth, facilitate improvement, etc. Too much of the former and not enough of the latter, you might experience injury or illness, or maybe leading up to burnout, versus too much of the latter and not enough of the former, and you might get complacent, might experience boredom, or be stagnant in your day-to-day or in your training. So again, this equation, stress plus rest equals growth, can apply to your squat, your deadlift, your training as an athlete in your sport, your career, your relationships, both personally and professionally, and even big picture, like culturally in organizations and businesses. So if you're an athlete, how do you incorporate this? In the endurance world, back when I was training triathlon, it was keeping the hard days hard and the easy days easy. So make sure that you're incorporating hard training days followed by rest or easy days to allow for that muscle regrowth and regeneration and recovery. Making sure that on those easy days, you're taking them easy, whether that's active recovery or a full day off. And then in your professional life, using intense focused work sessions followed by short breaks in the productivity and time management space. There's a technique called the Pomodoro technique, where you're setting a time, an actual timer, to help with your deep work sessions followed by your short breaks. Check out Deep Work by Cal Newport. That's a plug for a nice book on all things high productivity. But using that intense work followed by those short breaks so you can maintain high productivity without burning out at the end of the day. And we'll go more into that particular type of topic at a later date. But yep, that's today's episode. Follow that equation, stress plus rest